Totley Towers, Gloss, had long been under the impression that I was hopelessly in love with her, and had given to understand that if ever she had occasion to return her betrothed Gussie Fink Nottle to Store, she would marry me. Which wouldn't have fitted in with my plans at all. She, though physically in the pin-up class, being as mushy a character as ever broke biscuit, convinced that the stars are God's daisy chain, and that every time a fairy blows its wee nose, a baby is born. The last thing, as you can well imagine, one would want about the home. So, when Gussie unexpectedly eloped with the cook, it looked as though Bertram was for it. If a girl thinks you're in love with her and says she will marry you, you can't very well voice a preference for being dead in a ditch. Not, I mean, if you want to regard yourself as a pro-chevalier, as the expression is, which is always my aim. But just as I was about to put in my order for sackcloth and ashes, up, as I say, popped Spode, now going about under the alias of Lord Sidcup. He had loved her since she was so high, but had never got round to mentioning it, which he did so now, and they clicked immediately. And the thought that she was safely out of circulation and no longer a menace was possibly the prime ingredient in my current euphoria. I think that makes everything clear to the meanest intelligence, does it not? Right-ho, so we can go ahead. Where were we? Ah, yes. I had just told Jeeves that I was sitting on top of the world with a rainbow round my shoulder, but expressing a doubt as to whether this state of things would last, and how well-founded that doubt proved to be. For scarcely a forkful of eggs and bee later, it was borne in upon me that life was not the grand, sweet song I had supposed it to be, but, as you might say, stern and earnest and full of bumps. Was I mistaken, Jeeves? I said, making idle conversation as I sipped my coffee. Or, as the mists of sleep shredded away this morning, did I hear your typewriter going? Yes, sir, I was engaged in composition. A dutiful letter to Charlie Silversmith, I said, alluding to his uncle, who held the post of butler at Deverell Hall, where we had once been pleasant visitors. Or possibly a lyric in the manner of the bloke who advocates gathering rosebuds. Neither, sir. I was recording the recent happenings at Totley Towers for the club book. And here, dash it, I must once more ask what I may call the old sweats, to let their attention wander while I put the new arrivals abreast. Jeeves, you must know, I am addressing the new arrivals, belongs to a club for butlers and gentlemen's gentlemen round Curzon Street way. And one of the rules there is that every member must contribute to the club book the latest information concerning the fellow he's working for, the idea being to inform those seeking employment of the sort of thing they will be taking on. If a member is contemplating signing up with someone, he looks him up in the club book, and if he finds that he puts out crumbs for the birdies every morning, and repeatedly saves golden-haired children from being run over by automobiles, he knows he's on a good thing, and has no hesitation in accepting office. Whereas, if the book informs him that the fellow habitually kicks starving dogs, and generally begins the day by throwing the breakfast porridge at his personal attendant, he is warned in time to steer clear of him. Which is all very well, and one follows the train of thought, but in my opinion such a book is pure dynamite, and ought not to be permitted. There are, Jeeves has informed me, 11 pages in it about me. And what will the harvest be, I ask him, if it falls into the hands of my Aunt Agatha, with whom my standing is already low? She spoke her mind freely enough some years ago, when, against my personal wishes, I was found with 23 cats in my bedroom, and again when I was accused, unjustly, I need hardly say, of having marooned A.B. Filmer, the cabinet minister, on an island in her lake. To what heights of eloquence would she not soar, if informed of my vicissitudes at Totley Towers? The imagination boggles, Jeeves, I tell him. To which he replies that it won't fall into the hands of my Aunt Agatha, she not being likely to drop in at the Junior Ganymede, which is what his club is called, and there the matter rests. His reasoning is specious, and he has more or less succeeded in soothing my tremors, but I still can't help feeling uneasy, and my manner, as I addressed him now, had quite a lot of agitation in it. Good Lord, I ejaculated, if ejaculated is the word I want. Are you really writing up that Totley business? Yes, sir. Well, all that stuff about my being supposed to have pinched old Bassett's amber statuette? Yes, sir. And the night I spent in a prison cell? Is this necessary? Why not let the dead past bury its dead? Why not forget all about it? Impossible, sir. Well, why impossible? Don't tell me you can't forget things. You aren't an elephant. I thought I had him there, but no. It is my membership in the Junior Ganymede which restrains me from obliging you, sir. The rules with reference to the club book are very...